Okay, for this video, I'm going to talk about transportation problem. So, transportation problem can be solved using linear programming, or there's a special algorithm na mas madali siya. Okay? Kasi kapag linear programming, it's very complicated. Marami kang variables, whereas if you make use of these techniques, mas madali and kayang isolve using just manual method without any use of software. Okay, so there are several approaches on how to solve to find an initial solution for transportation problem. One is the northwest corner rule. Then you make use of the stepping stone method, or we can make use of the Vogel's approximation method. Okay, let us have this problem. So we have here a global trade company that ships pine flooring to 3 building supply houses from its mills in 3 locations. Okay, we are to determine the best transportation schedule for the data given. So ito yung transportation cost. Say for example, from Pineville to supply house number 1, it costs $3 to ship pine floors. Okay? So, ang Pineville has a mill capacity of 25 tons. Oak Ridge, capacity niya ay 40 tons. Mapletown has a capacity of 30 tons. Tapos, ang supply house 1 has a supply house requirement or the demand of 30 tons. Supply house number 2, 30 tons. Supply house number 3, 35 tons. Okay? As you can see, we have here what we call a balanced transportation model. Kasi yung demand is equal to supply. Ito yung supply, ito yung demand. So, parehong 95. Okay? So, the number of rows, 1, 2, 3 is equal to the number of columns. Okay? Kaya balance. Then, so yun nga. From Pineville to supply house number 2, it costs $3 also to ship. So the first step is, so we make use of the Vogel's approximation method. Ma-appreciate nyo itong Vogel's approximation method dahil sa unang unang try, it can give you almost an optimal solution. Okay? So, the first step is to subtract yung lowest cost at saka next lowest cost. Since parehong $3, so we get with 0. Okay? So for each column or row, we find the lowest cost and the next lowest cost. Okay? So 3 and 3, 0. 2, 0 then 2 and 3, 1. Okay? So, 3 minus 2 is 1. Now, for the rows naman, 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. Then, 3 minus 2, 1. Then, 3 minus 2, 1. So, ang dami nating possible choices. Okay? What are our choices? So we find the highest. Kung saan yung highest number. Okay? So, lahat naman ng highest ay 1. So, pwede tayong ito ang piliin natin, or ito, or ito. Okay? So let's say we choose this one. Then, highest. Then, pagkatapos nyan, we fill in. Maglagay tayo ng the maximum possible value. Mag-ship in tayo sa possible value to that square. Kung saan, pinakamababa yung shipping cost. And for this row, okay, the lowest shipping cost ay from Pineville to supply house number 3. So what we do is we fill in the possible amount. So say we ship 25 tons from Pineville to supply house number 3. So, na-meet na natin yung requirements at hindi natin na-exceed to. Kailangan hindi rin ma-exceed. Okay? So, then we cross this out. Kasi na-meet na yung requirement. Okay? Next is, we repeat the process. So, subtract ulit tayo. So, and we eliminate this na in subtracting finding the highest and the next lowest. The lowest and the next lowest cost. Okay? So, meron na tayong difference dito, 4 and 3 kasi na-cross out na ito. Hindi na ito kasama sa consideration. So, 4 and 3, 1. Then, 2 and 2, 0 pa rin. Pagkatapos, so 3 and 3, 0. Okay? Next. So, we do not consider this row na. Then, so 3 minus 2 is still equal to 1. Next ay, ganun pa rin. 3 minus 2 is equal to 1. So, mamimili ulit tayo saan tayo mag-a-assign. It's either this one, or this one. So, suppose we choose this. Okay? Yan. Then, we assign the maximum value to that square, to this. Okay, kung saan yung may pinakamababa ang shipping cost. Between $4 and $3, obviously, ito ang mas mababa. So, we assign the maximum value, and the maximum value is 30. Okay? So, for this column, na ano na yan, na comply na. So, therefore, we can cross this column out. Okay? Also here, na-cross out na rin siya, di ba? Yan. So, cross out na rin. Okay? So, what's next? Ito na lang. Di ba? So, by deduction na lang, what is the maximum possible that we can assign here? It's not 40. So, between 2 and 3, ito ang mas mababa. So, we can assign 40. Pwede ba? If we assign 40 here, na-violate natin to. Okay? So, we cannot assign 40. So, therefore, the maximum tons that we can ship from Oak Ridge to supply house number 2 is only 30. Okay? And therefore, by deduction, 10 tons to. Okay? So, 30 plus 10 is equal to 40. So by row, by inspection, na-comply natin 25 tons at hindi natin na-violate yung supply. So, 40 tons, 30 tons. By column, ganun din. 30, 30, then 35. So, how do we check whether it is the optimal solution? Okay? So, it's optimal if the number of rows plus column minus 1 is equal to the number of occupied squares, and if all improvement indices are either positive or 0. Have a value of a positive, has positive value or 0. Okay?